going to demonstrate for you guys how to do the plank position, which is an excellent core exercise. Now you'll see plank positions being done all over the gym. It's a very common exercise, or wherever you go. It's a very common exercise, and it's a very good core exercise to work your entire core, which means your abdominals in the front, your obliques, and your lower back. It's working the entire area of the thoracic cavity under the ribs and above the hips, which is basically your core. I like to do slight modifications to really emphasize the rectus abdominis in the front. So you may see, my explanation may be a little different than what you see in the gyms, but I find it very effective because there's a lot of different ways to work your core, and I like to really get the focus in here because there's a lot of other muscle groups that can help, just like any exercise. Other muscles can come into play to make the exercise easier. We don't necessarily want that. We want it to be challenging and effective. So, get into a plank position. If you've seen it before, you know what that is. You're going to be on your elbows and on your toes, holding your body in a straight line, keeping your core tight. Now, my technique that's slightly different is, rather than just holding myself straight, I'm going to tuck my hips slightly, if you saw that, almost like the beginning of a crunch, tucking my hips, just like on a crunch where you bend your back slightly. I'm not humped up like this, but it's just a very slight tuck, and what that does is that draws my navel up and in, and that makes more of the work go into my abdominals, less of the work going to my back, hips, and shoulders. I also tell everyone, focus an arch. If you've seen an arch bridge, there's a stone at the top of the arch called the keystone that holds all the weight, and both sides are essentially leaning on the keystone. That's what I want your abs to be. Make all the pressure from your entire body go into your abs. Keep them pulled in, keep them tight, and try not to let your hips and shoulders carry too much weight. That way your core is getting a lot of work. And with a plank position like this, it's a static exercise. You don't have to move. So all I want you to do is hold it either as long as you can or for a desired period of time. So squeeze it in, pulling that navel up and in, making sure your abdominals are holding all your weight. Now a regression here, if that's too hard, if you find yourself shaking or if you feel like you can't keep your lower back from helping, a lot of times people who don't have the strongest core, their lower back will sink into it like this, and it will become a painful back exercise. We don't want that. So regression is drop to your knees, lift your feet, and try and get that same hip position where your hips are tucked under, your belly's pulled up and in, and your abs are holding all your weight. Now squeeze here, like I said, for time or to failure. And this is a very, very good core exercise. Ways to make it harder. You can go on plank. You can hold up one arm, one leg at a time, and work sides like that. Or you can stack weights on your lower back and hips. And that's a really good way to build core strength that's effective for heavy strength training like squats and deadlifts. And it works the front the same way the back is getting worked, through intense structural support in a static position where the core isn't bending.